It's the slogan. It just means more. It does just mean more. However, when it means more, when you lose to a team that you should have beat, you might not have a job anymore. What is up, everybody? It is Jake back with Master Football. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things college football, hit that red subscribe button, hit the like button, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you like EA college football content, go subscribe to my other channel, the MF Film Room. Link is in the description. But enough about all that college football content. Let's go. All right, guys, we had another awesome week of college football. The headliner, the most entertaining I had, there was two games. One of them, I watched it with my friend who's a Michigan fan. Michigan versus Oklahoma. John Mateer video coming out about him soon because of what he is. People kind of saw what I saw when he played at Boise State for Washington State last season. Yeah, I saw the playmaking ability. You'll see those sorts of things. We'll talk about him more in a video later this week. But the other game, surprisingly, that was really entertaining was the South Florida Bulls going to visit the Florida Gators. Now, the Florida Gators are feeling fresh off of their 55-0 win over Long Island University. South Florida beat my Boise State Broncos 34-7 in a game that was really weird for Boise State. Ultimately, when you lose by 27 points, you lose by 27 points. But South Florida heads into the swamp to take on the ranked Gators, the highly ranked Gators, and this is what we saw. So again, another kind of weird game. Again, South Florida, hey, win's a win's a win's a win. You don't care. You get the heck out of Gainesville as fast as you can. But it was a weird game that Florida just couldn't quite put them away, and South Florida just kind of stuck around. Byron Brown, a very experienced quarterback. There was this weird spitting in the face, personal foul late in the game. And in addition to Alvon Isaac, the running back, catching the screen pass right here. You see this 29-yard gain right there? 29-yard gain at the very, very last drive to get them into field goal range for the game-winning field goal. Ultimately, they kick it and they win. Florida, the 13th ranked team in the country, 55-0 first game against LIU, Long Island University. Highly, highly ranked SEC, looking really good. They lose this game, and it's one of those things. Nick Saban said this about games. He said, you don't get fired for losing games you could lose. You get fired for losing games you should win. And this is a game that you would think South Florida, the opening line I want to say was 16.5, 17.5 in favor of Florida for this game. Ultimately lose that game. This is big because Billy Napier has taken a while to kind of build something at Florida, and it might be taking too much time. So let's put respect on his name for what he's done at other programs. He's been around the SEC. He's been to Clemson. He's been to a couple different spots. He coached at Louisiana, the UL Lafayette Raging Cajuns. I know they're not called that anymore, but I still call them that. Louisiana, he was there 7-7, then 11-3, then 10-1, then 12-1. Comes over to the Florida Gators. First year 6-7. Again, they were 6-6. They played Oregon State in the Las Vegas Bowl. Did not have the game they wanted to have. Lost that game 6-7, 5-7 the next season. 8-5 last year. People are thinking, oh, this is starting to kind of look up. Now they're 1-1. And remember, after that last season, the 2024 season, that recruiting class that they had was so good that I myself actually made a video almost 2 years ago talking about how y'all need to watch out for Florida. Look at this guy right here. This is about a year and a half ago, maybe a little less than a year and a half ago, June 21st, 2023. I made a video about the fact that Florida was killing it in recruiting. Again, Billy Napier going down there, using what he has. Although they haven't seen the wins on the field they wanted to, he was doing a really good job off the field. They lost Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons, by the way, who started for Ole Miss just the other day and had that win over Kentucky. Doing a good job. Aaron Childs Jr., a couple other players there as well, doing a great job in the recruiting. So you thought okay, well, he's doing a good job recruiting. Eventually, it's going to all come together, and you'd like to see year 4, lots of good recruiting classes. He's going to really put it together here. Unfortunately, after this loss to South Florida, when you start to do the math here, it doesn't really work out for him in a good way. So the remainder of the schedule is absolutely brutal. So we got next weekend at Louisiana, at LSU, number 3 LSU. Then we have the next weekend at Miami. Then we have a bye, and then we have home against Texas, and then at Texas A&M, Mississippi State, who just beat Arizona State. Great game there. A really, really crazy finish in that one. Then they have I think it looks like another bye week. Then they have the neutral site game versus Georgia. They have to visit Kentucky, not an easy place to play. Ole Miss had issues there too. They have to play at Ole Miss, home against Tennessee, and then home against Florida State, who now no longer is a slouch. So if you look at that there, the only non-road game or ranked game is Mississippi State at home, and they had a pretty good victory. It's not going to be a walk in the park for that game too. So do me a favor here, and I saw somebody say this online, find me 5 wins in that group right there. I mean, if I had to bet here, Mississippi State, if I had to put my money on it, at Kentucky, home against Florida State, you just don't know. But that's 3. You got to get 2 more for sure. And I'm not going to lie, I don't see it. Do you guys see it in the comments? You guys get in the comments and let me know. Because right now, unfortunately for Billy Napier, and I heard somebody say this before about the SEC. It's the slogan. It just means more. It does just mean more. However, when it means more, when you lose to a team that you should have beat, you might not have a job anymore. No, I don't want to dance on the grave of Billy Napier because all we're saying is the seat is hot. He's going to have to pull some magic the remainder of the season, and I don't know how much he can pull. Find 5 wins on that schedule. Find 5. They have to go 5-5. Find 5 wins. Mississippi State at home, maybe at Kentucky. There's no guarantees on those games. It's going to be a tough slog there. I'm not going to dance on his grave, but I am just saying here, when you sign over to be the head coach of Florida, with all those Urban Meyer national championships sitting in the background there, that is what the expectation of the fan base is. Realistic or not, it doesn't matter. Florida, it's one of the biggest, football in the state of Florida is absolutely massive. You can recruit almost anywhere in the country. You got to put it together, and so far they haven't. Billy Napier, if I had money putting on this year, I don't see 5 more wins the remainder of that schedule. They'll be competitive. But the problem is that if they go 5-7, it doesn't matter what kind of recruiting class you bring in. Billy Napier will no longer be the head coach at Florida. All right, guys, get in the comments right now. Let me know, guys, what you guys think. First of all, respect to South Florida. They beat my Boise State Broncos. They beat the Florida Gators. So good for them. But for Billy Napier, I just don't see how they're going to be able to do this year. If you guys can find it, let me know. But for me, I just don't see it. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Remember to please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.